I am so excited to be here with my dear friend and mastermind buddy since 2015, Elena Herdieckerhoff. You feel old?
How much time has passed?
Yes, it is. You know, but I do think it's so fitting that we're talking today based on everything that's been going on in the world and how what you're doing today fits perfectly to what people actually need. So yeah, before we dive into that, I want to know from you, even though we spoke recently, I think this is still a different format here and maybe different people watching and listening. How have the last, now is it 3.5 months from beginning of March, how has the world been for you? How has life and business been?
Well, I would say interesting. Probably the key word that most people would use to describe this time, and me too. So for me, as you know, I have my main business is my Red Dot Stage business, which is my TEDx Speaker coaching company. And of course, all TEDx talks got canceled, most of them until the end of the year, and some have gone to like online versions. But pretty much it means that it got quite difficult to, continue this business model of attracting new clients to something that you cannot even prove that you can land a talk for somebody within the next few months because there are no talks to land. So,
yeah.
This is where I was very fortunate that actually I had a second leg to stand on. And that second leg is almost part of my own legacy work. As you know, since 2014, I have done business mentoring and maybe doing it more from an intuitive spiritual perspective as well. And so that was a leg I shifted back onto during that time because A, it's something I love doing, and B, I also felt that there was a very concrete need that I could fill with many entrepreneurs being forced to pivot. And so it actually worked out very well for me.
It worked out really well because you had that leg, you know, and you also, you have spoken twice at Sigrun Live, which is the exclusive event for my Samba community, and 2 different topics. First TEDx, and then love consciousness. Do you feel that that was kind of like, what do you call that word in English? Serendipity? Like, that you kind of told the world, hey, I'm actually gonna start this new passion project, love consciousness, and then a few months later the world is turned upside down?
Yes, it's very interesting because for me, I energetically, I'm very sensitive and I feel things even way before they come. And I felt actually since January, I felt, and I told this to a few close friends of mine, I said, something is going to happen in the world. And I didn't know what, but I just felt that something monumental was on the way, and it didn't scare me, but I felt that something was happening. And when I tuned into it, I felt that this was actually the shift in consciousness that I always hoped would happen for humanity. And we can only sometimes, change in radical circumstances. Otherwise, it's easier to stay the same. And I think this gave a reset to humanity on a multitude of levels, and some, very harsh for many. But from a collective point of view, it created a real shift. And so, I love consciousness came right before.
Right before, it's kind of like, did he know?
I'll get my crystal ball out next time.
Yes. Well, I'm very proud that you kind of announced this new passion project within my community, and it was like in 2 ways. You said, okay, I'm coming out with this, like, here's the person. I'm also going to be known for this, and not just, Red Dot Stage, the TEDx business. But it was also kind of a testing ground, and to see how people would receive it. And how do you feel about if you had not done it, how ready you would have been now?
I actually think probably I wouldn't have been as ready because, this is kind of the good fortune that sometimes happens also when you put yourself out there, is that life takes care of you if you take care of you and you do what you feel called to do. And I think what happened between us, because we have such a dear friendship and the momentum was there, and we had talked about this dream I had at one of our masterminds. He said, come do it, talk about it.
Tell us about love consciousness. I need to know.
And that was for me, no doubt, actually like the seed that was planted for this. And then I was fortunate enough that it had blossomed to such an extent that I could work with that by the time the crisis hit.
How did it feel when, your business basically gets, like the rug gets pulled under your feet, like no more events, and you don't know when they come back?
Yeah.
Did you think first it would be a few weeks and then it's back? In the beginning, it was so much uncertainty. No?
No, I knew right away that this is done. And
Not done, but maybe for the year.
I knew it very quickly. It was more of a feeling where I'm like, oh, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
This is going to get worse. It's not going to get better for a certain amount of time. And so I actually didn't really. Interestingly enough, I didn't have such a strong shock reaction to that as I might have had, because I've been feeling this for such a while before. So it's almost like in my feeling world, I had already accommodated for something big to happen. And so when it did happen, it actually only took me maybe 2-3 days once I allowed myself to say, this is it. And don't continue looking for your cheese where it's been moved.
Exactly. So you were not like hoping for something to change. You said, okay, 2-3 days of shock. And now let's get to work. How am I going to actually have a business and, something to live off until the other one returns? Or maybe to build up that leg that you wanted to build up anyway.
Yes, for me, I felt like, I was put into a timeout corner by the universe and said, okay, you do your stuff. You said you wanted to really build this. Okay, here, really build this.
Yeah, do it. We're not going to give you a choice to do anything else. Yeah.
So I actually took it. It was in a way, it was fortunate because this is work I truly believe in and love. And so I had the perfect opportunity to actually expand that.
You mentioned before that legacy work. How do you know that this is your legacy work? You're a serial entrepreneur. You've done, I don't know, is it 3 businesses, 4 businesses?
More.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at it since I'm mid-20s and I'm now almost mid-40s. So yeah.
So how do you know that this is it? This is what you want to leave behind or be known for ultimately?
I think every business I have done already carried that same energy in it. So it was always about bringing love to people in different ways and through different access points. And I think now it's almost like the egg is cracked open and now I'm just going to the essence of it versus doing things that express it. Now it's actually directly transmitting that love consciousness essence. So it's really going directly to the source now instead of through other avenues.
Layers or something else. Yeah.
Like when I had my eczema cream, I knew that it helped so many people and it helped them and it kind of gave them self-love back and feeling good within themselves. And so that was a different way, for example, to help people access a different vibration and feel better and feel peace. My cream, even at the time, was called Peace Balm. So it was like literally imparting a frequency. And now I think the reason it's my legacy work is now I'm actually teaching how to access love consciousness and how to express that in your life and business.
Okay, for someone watching who's never heard of this before, what is love consciousness?
Yeah, I'm sure there are quite a few who might not have heard this. So love consciousness fundamentally, anyway, consciousness at its base is a sense of awareness. And there's a consciousness level that humanity is at right now that I would say is definitely not at a love vibrational level. Mm-hmm. And when you think about love consciousness, it's basically focusing consciousness through a lens that is dominated by the heart, and that is dominated by a frequency of well-being for all. And it's a higher perspective, if you like, that is more healing, more all-encompassing, and that has vibrations like peace at its core, harmony, care. And these are, interestingly enough, you will see that now that the world is in such a state, people are yearning to restructure the world towards more equality, towards more compassion, towards more community. So these are all different expressions of actually heart-based living and accessing love consciousness. And so I think this was a needed reset, because we're destroying our planet and each other in most ways. And I think humanity's chance for survival will be to energetically ascend to a living that is not based on ego and self, but that is based on the heart.
I saw that Jacinda is her name, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Jacinda, right? Yeah. See, you have seen her deal with volcanic eruption, terrorist attack, COVID, recession, you name it. And I think she stands up somehow to every challenge, but she calls her leadership style kindness.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. That would be an example of love leadership for me. Somebody who expresses their love consciousness through leadership. I think she's a beautiful example of somebody demonstrating that love gets stuff done, because people feel, I think, when I talk about love consciousness, it means, we're just going to hug trees.
Love each other and we're not going to do anything. We're not going to get stuff done.
Yeah, that love is just like a cute thing.
Yeah.
But love is a very serious and very strong and powerful force. And when you harness that, you get more done than with the other frequencies, much more, because actually everybody is taken care of in a love frequency. And I think that's what new leadership will demand, is that people have that more heart-based response that takes care of everyone and not just a few.
Yeah. The ego is gone, and you have to think about everyone else maybe first.
Yeah, and it's a more of a collective vibration, because if we get to a point as a collective where we truly care about not only the planet but also all inhabitants, then you can imagine what different choices everybody would make.
Yeah.
And what kind of world that would present us with. And it would no doubt be a world with a lot more happy, kind people.
Yeah, definitely. So you said, I had this leg up, but you didn't necessarily have, like everything in place, like email lists or followers online. How does one, especially as a serial entrepreneur, we are used to kind of having a certain income stream and everything. How does one just restart on the go? What were your first action steps?
Well, my first action steps was actually to reach out to a lot of my previous clients that I had worked with over the years, and just said, hey, how are you doing, first of all? And what's going on in your business? And by the way, because I had previously said I'm not available really for that kind of work anymore, I said I'm now available if you want. And many said, oh, fantastic, let's do it. So that was great. And because part of love consciousness in business is also that you have relationships with your clients that go beyond just client-provider relationship, but real human care, so that it's easy to have that ongoing rapport, and then also to pick that back up without it coming across in a kind of weird way. So that was my kind of first step, and then my next step was to look at where I would like to expand my business. And what has come to me over the years, which I've never really done, which is interesting, but I had many requests for, was actually more of a like spiritual mentoring kind of. And I've always focused that more on the business side because that's my natural wheelhouse is entrepreneurship. But because my TEDx talk is not about entrepreneurship, it's about highly sensitive people, and many highly sensitive people are interested in the more intuitive journey, the spiritual journey. And I've always asked, like, is there no way that you have no product for us? You have no service for us? Like I want to work with you, but I'm not an entrepreneur. So actually, for the first time, I've created an arm on my website to offer more like intuitive life coaching, spiritual mentoring. And that immediately, actually, just from normal traffic that I get from my TEDx talk, actually picked up very quickly.
Yeah. We need to mention that your TEDx talk just reached 3 million views. That is fantastic.
Yes, that is really.
How long time is it now? Is it 3 years or?
It was in summer 2016.
Yeah, so 4 years. 4 years. Yeah, but 3 million. That is fabulous. So you are getting natural traffic
all the time, every day.
Yeah, and you didn't have anything for people for a long time.
Ages. And also I took the time to actually every online course I've ever created, like I had what many entrepreneurs have, the graveyard of fantastic products. So I had that.
We all do.
And I was like, oh, I've created so many amazing things. Why don't I actually put them back out? And had my team say, okay, let's put our products back out, my online courses and things like that, which again, I hadn't really considered to do because I was really more focused on something else. So now they're all there. So that's
there. Yeah. And people actually can buy something that are finding you through the TEDx talk. So
and they do
that. Do they do that?
They do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they would, but they do. Oh. And I find that fantastic. But this is, to me, shows again the power of a TED Talk, because you and I both know that cold traffic per se does not right away convert into sales normally. You need funnels, outcome sequences, and all the rest of it normally. And I think because the trust factor is so big when somebody hears you on the TEDx stage, and they feel what you're talking about in that area, then they transfer that authority to your products. Yeah,
that's fabulous. So, but you are planning something more because So you got your courses up there. Yeah, you got your courses up there.
Yeah, so basically just rebuilding the business and putting everything back out. But as part of my celebration for my 3 million views, I said, for me, I wanted to commemorate that occasion and put out something big that will do what I want for the world, which is to raise love consciousness. So I decided to create a summit called Lead with Love. And this is a real consciousness expansion journey for people to go on, where we will join hands with me and fabulous guest experts, especially this one.
I'll be there too. That's great. I feel honored to be invited. Lead with Love.
Yes, and this is for me. I've selected 15 fantastic guest experts to join me on this. And what I wanted to do is I want to show that love leadership, which means for me is really heart-based, embodied leadership, does not have to only happen in the spiritual community. So I have a wide range of guests and ones that I would say are super down to earth, and then some that have more fairy dust. So it's really the broad spectrum. And I ask all of my experts 5 key questions, because I want to demonstrate that you can lead with love in many, many different ways and from many backgrounds and belief systems. And that love is above all that. Love is not spiritual. Love is not religious. Love is not any of these things. Love is something we all can access through our hearts. And that's why I'm super excited to put that out there, and also to offer my own trainings on love consciousness and love leadership within that umbrella of the summit. So this is super exciting.
I am so excited. Yeah, summits are a great way to build your list, because you've talked about, like, when you build a new business, the audience is coming through the traffic, which is a huge plus for you. Most people will not have that, so they're like, oh, okay, that's a big benefit. But they're still not on your email list.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So of course, some of them do, of course, opt in also for your email list, but of course, it's not something you can just passively rely on. And a summit is a great opportunity, I think, to attract people around a very specific topic. And then every guest expert that invites their audience to this, people will self-select themselves into that, who know that this is for them, and this is also the kind of work they want to do. Not everybody is interested in, love consciousness necessarily, but the ones that will be really ideal also for me to journey with them in that kind of format.
Yeah. You have been actually a guest on several summits, also as a result of speaking on my stage. And how has that benefited you to be actually the guest on a summit or somebody else's summit?
Well, I think I know directly that I got some either mastermind clients, like for my group coaching program, or even one-on-one clients from that directly. So as an immediate result, then of course also list building helps. And for me, even beyond the more tangible metrics, it's the opportunity to speak to audiences about a topic that very few people speak about, which is, love consciousness is not exactly hitting your Facebook news feed every 2 minutes. So it's also from a mission perspective for me, it gives me the opportunity to share what I believe in and maybe excite people about the possibilities and make them want to dig deeper for themselves. So I think on these 3 levels, it's helpful also to be a speaker at these events.
Yeah. But what will happen when TEDx starts their stages again?
Well, my business, I will officially, with my clients, we've put it on hold for many, because, if there's no events to apply to, then, there's not much you can do. So I will restart that officially in September again. And we're starting slowly already. I have my team starting already, slowly reaching out to people again and seeding the attention that in Q1 2021, it's going to start again. So I'm doing a slow restart, but I think I'm not going to go necessarily back to the same level, because I think now that I've built that other foundation, I think I'm probably going to run more of a dual business than to have a high percentage of my time and energy in one and a smaller one in the other. I think it's going to be more balanced now. Yeah.
Also, what if a second wave hit,
And there, which is totally possible, of course. And I like the second leg I built.
Yes. Yeah. You're thinking like, oh, I like my second leg here. No, it's been fabulous. There have been businesses that say, oh, I just want to wait it out. Things will go back. But I think that's not a smart choice, because we don't know if it will ever be the same again. Now, obviously, I know people want to go back to TEDx. But a lot of other events have gone online. I'm seeing conferences announced for November, December to be virtual.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No, for me, just even from an energetic standpoint, it gives me anxiety to feel that I don't have control over my world. And so I rather always be proactive and create than sit back and say, I'm going to wait until XYZ comes or happens or whatever. Like, that doesn't feel good to me. It feels much better to say, whatever happens, here's what I can do. It improves the quality of my sleep.
I think that's a great way to think about it. Elena, it's always good to connect. We are best friends, so it's kind of like We could talk forever. But the whole purpose of this special show is to, talk to 6 and 7 figure female entrepreneur, check on what's been going on, last 3 months as our world been turned upside down and what's happening next. And we've gotten a very good, glimpse into what's happening for you, Elena. And I'm looking forward to be on your summit.
Well, I cannot wait to have you there. It's going to be fantastic. And I cannot wait as well to share the love.
Okay, and let's lead with love. Thank you for joining, Elena. Thank you for everyone for watching.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.